I want you to know that your book is not the destination, it's a doorway. Have you ever seen people write a book and then they finish writing the book and that's the end? And there's so much potential that people, authors have in publishing the book and expanding that book. In this video, I'm going to show you that a book is not the end goal. It actually is the beginning of expansion. And I know for the past week, we have talked about books and why it's important for us to do the work within, then have strategies to write the book. And now we're talking about expansion. The reason we're doing this is because we are actually creating something called the Ultimate 3. The Ultimate 3 is a supreme success path for authors where we follow the framework called the BDA framework. And we talked a little bit about the BDA framework. And if you don't know a little bit about it, we have a playlist called the BDA framework where you can actually indulge. We broke it down. And this framework actually helps you start as a beginner of as an author and then end as a master author. So whereby you do the work internally, that's before you become the author, the works you have to do in identity. And then during is when you become the author, the works you have to do to execute. And then we have after in the BDA framework, which is expansion, the works you have to do to expand. That's after you've written the book. And I want you to know that your book is not the end goal. Today, we're going to talk about how the book is actually an expansion of greatness and information, but also a tool for multiple streams of income. You see, when strategically positioned, a book unlocks opportunities that generate multiple streams of income. And when you know that true authors become entrepreneurs by leveraging their intellectual property. There's so many knowledge that you have to give, but when you actually leverage the books that you have, you can create multiple businesses and multiple opportunities if you actually spend time expanding. I know this because for us, the Purpose University, this is how it started. And many of our students have actually taken this Ultimate 3 bundle pathway, have actually talked about how they did the work internally, they've written the book, and now they're actually expanding. And the Purpose University, it's actually one of the living proofs of this strategy because we wrote a book and then we did the work. I did the work internally. I worked on myself mentally, did all the things I had to do. Then I went to the next stage where I wrote the book. But then when I wrote the book, I realized that that was just not the end. I thought that this was going to be the end of everything. And then one day as I was praying, I heard the Holy Spirit tell me that this book will open doors for you. And I didn't understand what that meant. I thought maybe the book itself would sell. But eventually, 1 year later, I now understand because I realized that a book has doors. It's a door. It's multiple opportunities in one. And that was what happened, is that we were able to create a business called the Purpose University off of the strategy I learned in my book. The whole business is about books. And that is just one concept of what a book can do. What about even engagement and so many more opportunities that I've gotten just because I wrote a book? Don't sit on your wealth, multiply your wealth. So I want to show you how a book is the beginning. Because how does a book actually become what does it mean when I say a book is the beginning? I want you to understand that a book actually creates a lot of things that you do not actually pay attention to. Sometimes we may have the solution to a problem, but we just don't know how to use a tool. I'm gonna ask a very, very intentional question. How many of us have cameras or remote controls to our television? I'm sure many of us have it. How many buttons do you use on that remote control? Up, down, left, right, volume up, volume down, change here, change there. That's it, right? That's all you use. Practically, that's all you use. But do you know there are many functions on that remote control that you can use that you don't even know of? They are. But does that defeat the fact that the remote control doesn't has multiple options? No, it does not. Your remote control has multiple options. You just don't know how to use it. And that's the same thing with a book. You think that writing a book is just getting the book out there and I'm an author. That's, oh, no, no, no. I'm an author. That's it. I wrote my books. No, there is more that your books can actually create for you if you look right and you study right, but also you have the right lens to find out the right things that is bringing. So a book can create credibility. You may not need credibility right now as a first author, but let me tell you something, credibility is very needed when you start a business because the people know that they can trust you. You're not some random AI version that is trying to sell them something. No, they know you. They've been around you because they've read your book. A book creates visibility. And I mentioned this many times how I remember when I searched on Google search engine and I saw my name pop up because of my book. I was so emotional because that was the first time I typed my name on Google, and my books just pop up. Poop, 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 poop. I was so proud of myself. In fact, they even had a, a Gemini version of myself, basically saying that Fejani Taibuni is an author of this and that and that and that. I never had that before. Never in my life have I ever had that. So seeing that made me feel like I've accomplished a lot in my life. And people knew of me because of my book. Some didn't even know me, they just knew that I wrote a book. Like they've read my book and they're like transformed by it. But I am building visibility, even global visibility. There are many people that have read my book that are not even in the country I live in. You can impact people if you're willing to write the book and think about many opportunities that the book can create. A book creates trust. You have a digital company and nobody knows about you, nobody's going to buy from you. No offense. Because they don't know you. They don't know who you are. So a book creates trust for people to be able to trust you enough to be able to invest in you. And a book creates authority. It creates authority in your industry that you are this person and this is what you've done. I've just seen people that once they wrote a book, something changed about them. They started getting so many different opportunities, and you're wondering, like, I don't understand. Isn't it the same person? No, they wrote a book. That's the power of a book. Because the the real opportunity actually starts, it begins after publishing, not when you publish. That's what people don't understand, is that they think that when they publish a book, that is it. No, the opportunity actually starts after you've published the book. And how does this opportunity start? They unlock by multiple streams. One book can create a course. In fact, courses. You can create a mini course of chapter one of your book. And we have so many tools now to help you expand information. You can start a coaching class, a coaching industry, a coaching business off of the book that you've launched. I know a company that have done that, God Talks. And they've created a coaching program whereby they actually certify other coaches through the book called God Talks. They took principal strategies from the book and they expanded it. I want you to see what a book can do. It can also create speaking opportunities. I've talked about this many times, how I've been invited to spaces, not because people watch my videos, because they read my book. Some of them didn't even read my book. They just heard about my book. And they called me to come and talk about my book. And they help and speak to their audience. It also can create consulting opportunities, whereby maybe the content in your book is actually the solution that a company or a person needs. I want you to see beyond the book. Look ahead of you and look at the opportunities that a book can actually create for you. It can create memberships. I've seen people do cohorts where the people pay subscription every month and they're teaching them contents from the book. You can call it the expanded version of the book. You can even create licensing. There's so many I don't even want to go in depth. There's so many opportunities, and it just shows you how what one message can do. How one message creates multiple monetization paths if you're willing to look beyond the book. So once you are able to look beyond the book, you are now becoming an entrepreneur. In fact, I'm going to explain to you what an entrepreneur is because I like that word. An entrepreneur is a person that thinks beyond royalties. Many people, when they think about books, they only think about the royalties they're going to make. That's not enough. To be honest with you, statistically speaking, many people may not actually buy that book. Some people may eventually not buy your book. You're not only writing your book just so you can get small royalties. No, 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 no. We do not just think about small things, we think of the future. Royalties are the bare minimum of your book, of what your book can actually do. There's so much greatness that your book has. I have seen people create a whole industry off of one book. We've done it, and most of our students have done it. So you don't want to sit on your book. You want to look at the opportunities. If you want to be an entrepreneur thinks beyond royalties. An entrepreneur actually builds ecosystems. This is where you actually build structures and systems that can be multiplied. You're not just thinking about one, you're thinking about multiple. An entrepreneur converts readers into clients. Oh, do you see how beautiful that is? Whereby you're able to strategically write your book. In fact, we have the Ultimate 3 book coming up. A success supreme path for authors using the BDA framework. This book, at the end of the book, I'm going to give you a tip. I'm supposed to be charging for this tip, but you know what? It is what it is. At the end of your book, what you can do is that you use your book strategically as a lead magnet, right? Once you've created the content of your book, you can convert that into a course. We teach this in the Book to Business Converter. In case you're actually curious about it, we teach this in the Book to Business Converter, where we actually show you how to convert it. Now, if you don't want to buy this success path individually, we actually have a bundle called the Ultimate 3, whereby we use the BDA, which is self-development, the ideal you, which is the B, the bookmaker, which is the D, and the Book to Business Converter, which is the A. And these three combined will create a supreme success path for you in the industry. And we use the BDA framework with these three courses together to help you be the best from struggling author to entrepreneur. But I want to say something here so you understand what I'm saying. We help people convert ideas, chapters in their book, in the Book to Business Converter. In fact, that course is valuable for 20,000, and we've brought it down so people can actually get the value they need. And basically, what it does is that you're able to extract your chapters, right? And then when you're writing the book, you strategically get the QR code of whatever course you're selling. So let's say, for example, as you're building your book, you already know what you're going to talk about. So in the meantime, while you were writing your chapters, you actually expanded that into a course, right? And because you expanded it into a course, you then used that course information and you created a whole mini course. Let's say you created a mini course, maybe a low ticket mini course. Let's just say it that way. I don't want to talk too much technicality because you may not understand until you get the Book to Business Converter. But let's just say that you already were creating a course as you were writing your book. What you can do is that you can either, if you haven't recreated a course yet, you can create a landing page for a wait list of your course and put it at the end of your book, and then give them an urgency offer whereby you tell them, if you buy this book, you get, because you bought this book, you get either 20% off, 50% off, 30% off of 30% off from the initial offer that you placed for them. That way, because they invested in themselves, they're able to get 20%, 30% off of the course that you're going to release. Now, this is the beautiful thing. You don't even need to get the course sorted out. So if you don't have a course, you can create a landing page that takes the waiting list. So basically, you're going to put the book as the lead magnet, and then at the back of the book you put a QR code, and that QR code, they get a percentage of however you want to do it. It's up to you whatever you want to do. And then when they get it, they can subscribe for a wait list so that they will be contacted when the course has launched. That, I gave you guys a free tip. Don't say I didn't give it to you. That's how you convert readers to clients. Just saying. Then you leverage IPs for expansion, and there's so much things that you can do. And I want to show you how the BDA framework is applied here, because I was saying to you that the whole thing is the BDA framework, right? Where it's identity and clarity, the before, the during, and the after. So how does all of this work? When you start working on yourself, and you're doing the work before you become the author, using the self-development, the ideal you course that we provide for you, then you switch to the next stage, which is the during. Here you're using the bookmaker course, which will help you then become the author, and then you switch to the final stage, which is called after. Here you become an entrepreneur, whereby you expand that book into multiple streams of income. This is how the BDA framework works. You don't want to just start by just figuring out and going straight to during. You want to start from before, then during, then after. When you use this framework, you will set up yourself for a success path as an author and an entrepreneur. This is how it's done, guys, because this is where after is where you multiply, where wealth is multiplied into from various multiple streams of income. So I want you to know that your book is a door to expansion. Your book can open international markets, it can attract strategic partnerships, it can position you as a thought leader, and it can build generational intellectual properties, because a book scales your voice beyond geography. A book can expand, and because it's expanded, you've basically put your name in the mouths and in the markets of people you don't even know. So that is why I'm saying, once you know that your book is the distribution. In fact, there's something I learned from Seth Ferguson. He was teaching this in one of his webinar, uh a $1 million branding $1 million course. It's a webinar that he did called $1 million branding. He called something called the pad method. The pad method is when you actually have, so you have the P, which is the product, A, the audience, D, the distribution. Everything that you create follows this method, the pad method. The P, the product, A, the audience, D, the distribution. So the P is the product, that's the work, the course or the thing that you want to bring out to the market. The A is the person that, or the audience that you're trying to reach, and the D is the distribution. Now, because your book is one of the best things you can ever have, since you don't have a wide audience, your product is your book. Your audience, what you can do is that when you've put that QR code at the back of your book, you can network with podcasters or people that invite you to speak or whatever they call you to do. You can get those people's audience to buy your book. Now, because your distribution is Amazon, they're going to be helping you distribute your courses, your future courses, or the things you're going to do, to places that your video ads will never reach. Because they buy your book and the QR code is at the back, they can have access to your courses without you even doing a sales ad in that country. All they have to do is scan the QR code. That's it. So now, if someone even buys your book and gives it to someone else, that QR code at the back already distributes your and and sells your courses to places that you never could have reached. But also, not just even that, it builds visibility for your course, that they know that it's not just only the book, there's actually a whole course that expands the book. So these are just strategies that you can use, right? As a entrepreneur, don't just focus on just writing the book. I want you to think beyond the book. There's so much value that your book can bring. I know that we have the ultimate three, and we are doing the 30, we did a 30 day, we're doing a 30-day series, which is very aspiring very soon, where we were explaining this for you. We broke it down. Now, if you need that series, it's on the YouTube channel. So just go to the Ultimate 3 series and you can find the 30 days. Everything is uploaded on the YouTube. Everything is there. Don't sit on your wealth. Okay. But we actually have an offer coming up where we are giving you, if you buy our book, you get 50% off the course bundle, the Ultimate 3. And that's the offer we're giving. It's at the back of the book. So make sure you guys check it. And I want to give you some few tips before we finish. Identify 3 income streams connected to your future book. I want you to map out a back-end offer. Think of an ecosystem, not an event. And I want you to shift it from author to entrepreneur. Once you do that, you will not just be a master in writing book, you will be a master in the industry of books. Well, make sure you apply these tips, and I will see you guys later for more tips. Bye, guys.